Hello, everyone. I'm Larry Ridley. You're tuned into the NFL on EA Sports. We've got a matchup today where the focus will be on the passing game. The Jags are top 10 at defending the pass, and they'll be going up against the Texans, who will need to solve that secondary.
Larry, the fans in teal and black are ready to lock down the bank as you get a look inside Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The calendar has turned to December, and we're in the home stretch now as we're underway in Week 13. This is taken about 7 yards deep, and no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and he'll take over at the 25. So here's the first drive now for the Jags. They'll be led out by a man who played his college ball for the Iowa Hawkeyes, 6'2" quarterback C.J. Beathard.
Coming off of a loss their last time out, I think he's just seeking to make a bigger impact on the game. He threw a touchdown pass, didn't throw an interception. I think he just wants to jump those numbers up in terms of flinging it around and letting his receivers get into the end zone.
They go play action here on first down. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. He was locked in. 2 trips to the end zone, Charles, over 100 yards receiving.
How about the combination of route running, confidence going downfield, and the ability to go up and get the football? You're exactly right. It was hard for them to stop him.
2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give him a new set of downs.
2nd and 1, and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the first down.
Now Beathard. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Kelly. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. Second down now after the pass completion. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched him more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that early.
He'll get 3 up to midfield. See if they stay on the ground for second down. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Rush coming, and he's taken down.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
To throw is Beathard. Under pressure again, and down he goes again.
I remember when I was a kid and all I wanted was a nickel so I could get that soda down at the fountain. And guess what? The nickel came into play well. 5 defensive backs, they covered well, allowed for the sacks.
Sodas were a nickel when you were a kid?
No, I just needed the extra nickel so I could pay the proper price.
Okay, how much were they? A dime? What were they?
15 cents.
Yeah, last week in the loss, 5 punts as he gets this one away. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. So out come the Texans for their opening drive. The former national champion at Clemson bringing him onto the field, and that's the signal caller, Deshaun Watson.
In his stat line last week, that's not going to get him to the Pro Bowl. All right, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but they won. And so the bottom line for him is team won, managed the game effectively, led them to victory. He's doing all the right things.
Gets this to the 24 for a gain of 4. Now Mason. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with third down now looming. And the big meat on the D-line. We'll see how they do today.
And I'd hate to be an offensive lineman having to deal with these guys. They come in hungry, mean, and confident. They think that no one can block them.
And this defense looks for one more stop here on third after the run. And he'll give it here to his running back. He's got the first down and more past the 40. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the first. They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston first down. He was well over 100 yards last week. He told us this week, a little ambitious, said he wants to hit that 200 mark. We'll see.
Makes sense, though, doesn't it? Have we ever run into a running back that had a great game the week before that didn't think that's just going to naturally continue? Just make sure you feed me the football. And that's what they're all about. Continuity, rhythm, number of carries. Just keep giving it to him.
The numbers for him from a week ago. And Charles, how do you think he ran the football?
I thought he definitely had his moments. I did think that they could have utilized him a little bit better, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him to see how they're going to use him this week.
They'll try the air now with Watson. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
But that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
Yeah, blink of an eye. That happened fast and a big sack. Gonna need something special here on third and long. After that sack, what does Watson have in his arsenal?
Come on, let's go!
From the gun, here's Watson. Throw left side complete. That's Yoder. And he'll be taken down as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. And they're on the move here. They've got it 1st and 10. They'll send a receiver in motion to the right. Now they'll run it on the toss. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
Yeah, and that was a safety that came through and made the play. But there's no doubt in my mind, he hits like a linebacker. And we see a lot of that in today's NFL, don't we?
And that time we do indeed. A big hit for a loss. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. They came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
9th play of the drive coming up, and certainly not an easy one on 3rd and long. Here's Watson. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
Watson going to stay out there as they'll go for it on 4th. They will indeed snap it to Watson. He's going to air one out. And that is caught. Touchdown, Texans. A big play there with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Texans are in for 6. Wow, talk about a big 4th down conversion for the score. Defensively, how do you let that happen?
I think you start with the offense, and you give them credit for going for it and having that type of, well, let's face it, audacity. But defensively, I think you're right on target, partner. There's no way something like that's supposed to happen in that situation. You're supposed to be able to shut that down and get the ball back for your own team. Instead, they give up not just a big play, but a touchdown.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. The Texans defense, we watch them get set to go. And we're going to get a peek at some of the hits that have helped them get this first half lead.
And you know how the best hits happen?
Defense showing blitz. Now a handoff here to his running back. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again. Good play action, hit them over the top.
Back to throw Beathard. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. A pass for negative yardage, obviously no good. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown it, or maybe he shouldn't have caught it.
I think we were seeing it at the same time, weren't we? Maybe you let that one go, right? Because you can see the lost yardage.
And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been under constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. Here's Brian Anger now. As the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. That's taken on the 25. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. Look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. Would be ideal.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. 16 yards on that one, and also a Texan 1st down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
Now they try the right side here. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down. Tough running there. That's a hard-earned 4 yards.
Yeah, those are the unsung kind of runs. They don't fill up the stat sheet, but they do set you up in good position on 2nd down.
Let's go. 1-9.
On 2nd down, here's Watson. Blitz coming, and down he goes.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, he really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
Here's Watson. A bullet throw, but incomplete. Well, too much oomph, too much mustard there on that pass.
They really turned it loose, didn't they? Really cut loose with that one. Sharp, strong. Didn't lead to a completion, though. Made it very difficult.
Let's go.
On fourth down, Watson. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And they will not be able to hook up there. It's incomplete. Boy, a real head-scratcher there. And this defense will take over right at midfield. Well, their first fourth down attempt earlier was successful. This one backfires for a turnover on downs.
I like their aggressiveness. I like what they're doing. They got it the first time they went for it. Why not a second time? I don't think they'll be daunted from attempting it again. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, though, any fourth down stop is a big momentum play.
It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up second down. Beathard. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
The one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown them a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after them. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. They'll throw here. Beathard under pressure now, and Beathard goes down to the turf. Now the Texans are going to stop it as they signal for a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Anger is on to punt, and he gets this one away. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Houston. And last time they were very fortunate, this offense. They went for it on 4, turned it over in their own territory, but the other guys held up. They didn't give up any points.
So how about the guy with the #1 headset on the sidelines, the head coach? That was planned going into it, not necessarily to not get the first down or to have the defense have to hold
He
up.
trusted his defense.
Trusted his defense very much, and I think that's how he's going to play this game. Go for it, be aggressive, because I've got the wild bunch backing me up over here on my own sideline.
Well, we'll see what his offense can do. And the offense there, the O-line, everybody really on offense, they were just manhandled at the point of attack.
Yeah, you could pretty much call them all out, couldn't you? Almost by name, right? That was a very tough sequence for the offensive line. But how about that defensive front creating a new line of scrimmage and creating a lost yardage possibility?
And now here's a carry heading left. Got some room at the 30. And he is out of bounds, getting it across the 30-yard line. They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston first down.
Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed. And he's able to get to the second level almost before you blink if you give him any type of blocking. Always talk about slot receivers, and they're usually known as quicker than fast. In this case, we've got a guy who's quick and fast, and he used it to great advantage.
Now a handoff as they run left side. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. To throw on second is Watson. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Yoder. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. 23 yards on the play.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
On 2nd and 10, Watson. Over the middle, complete. That's Simmons. And he's going to get this one down right to the edge of the red zone to the chalk of the 20. That one goes for 24 yards. From the red zone now, Watson. And that will be incomplete. 4 ticks left here on the clock.
One of the toughest things about playing defensive back is pattern reading, trying to figure out what they're doing. And on that one, they had the fly, just sending a guy downfield with the in route accompanying it, what people call a dagger route, trying to hit the guy underneath after the clear out. In this case, though, they're not able to get it done.
Yeah, they said forget the underneath route. They went for the guy on the fly, but as you said, incomplete. And his kick is good. And that will do it for this first half. And actually, Larry, hold that thought. We're right back to the action. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This fielded at the 2. And some room to work. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 40, right around the 39. So solid starting field position. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back onto the field. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. And he'll get this up past the 45 to the 47. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
On the ground again, it's Mason. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 10 yards there, good enough for a Texan first down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a first down. Keep the sticks moving.
To throw is Watson. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 29. And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line. First possession of the third quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. 4 yards on the pickup there as they get it back to a more manageable 3rd and 7.
But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. Oh, boy, he fielded it right on the goal line. They'll call that a 61-yard punt. He got all of that one. And the Texans are going to have the football with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. We have not seen much on offense from either side. These last few drives, it has been a struggle, hasn't it?
Totally, and you're thinking to yourself right now, if you're on offense trying to get things figured out, okay, we self-scout every week in our game plan. How many things do we do at certain times? What are our tendencies? Time to go to some of those tendency breakers and try and create some offense.
They always have those in their back pocket, don't they?
You have to, and if you don't keep abreast of what you're doing, you lock into a rhythm and make it easy for the opposition.
Looking for tendency breakers right now. They'll run again with Mason. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
They were not fooling around at all, were they? 2nd and short, and they brought out the heavy package. Almost felt like the super heavy package against that defense, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they expected that much beef up front, and it turned into an easy first down conversion. Off of play action, it's Watson. He's going to rifle one deep left and got his man complete. That goes for a gain of 31. The last drive he threw the pick, but he's not shy. He's going downfield again there.
And you can't be, because if you back off after throwing an interception, your whole game plan just goes right out the window, and it makes things easier for a defense. And you and I both know there's a quarterback in this league that's any good that doesn't throw an interception occasionally, and they usually bounce back in a big way. I've seen guys throw 5 and still find a way to win the game in the end.
Now they run. It's Mason. And an alley to run. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. 11 more yards that go around. A first down as well.
For so many years, I was convinced it was a myth, you know, because you always hear about the smaller running back. Oh, he gets lost, you can't find him, and sometimes that's part of his genius. But it's true. You get behind big offensive linemen, the defensive line guys trying to find him, trying to peek around people to see him, and he gets lost. But this guy gets lost in a good way for his offense, picking up big yardage.
Mason. And he'll be brought down at about the 42. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
When the 4-3 defense is functioning really well, you know who stays what we call clean and no one gets to him? The guy playing the middle linebacker position, the guy we call Mike. That means the defensive front is eating up all the blocks and just let him go to the football and make a play.
Watson now to throw. Oh, the ball is out. Watson lost it. And he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line.
With no running backs in the backfield to help pass protect, all the receivers in their patterns, there's going to be hot routes. If they sense a blitz or pressure on the quarterback, they've got to be prepared to break routes off early and get the football. In this case, never even had a chance. They caught the ball free in the backfield.
And he'll go down, and that will do it for the third quarter of action. And after the play on the ground, that brings up 2nd down here. Here's Beathard to throw. And that's going to be incomplete. Well, pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides, where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
And that's incomplete.
And we just saw another example. These cornerbacks have played tight coverage all game long. Might start wanting to think about a few double, triple move routes to try and shake their guys free.
Because they have, you're right, they have had no room to breathe. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. Going for the deep ball. And that is incomplete. And here comes the Texans now. And last time, the fumble, the turnover. Now they still have the lead, but I don't think coaches care. The turnovers will bother them no matter what the scoreboard says.
That's the relief, that you still have the lead. But coaches look at what if and what it should be. Turning the ball over when they've got a chance to score more points and increase the lead, that's what's going to affect them.
And they're also thinking to future weeks, maybe when the game's closer, right?
No doubt about it. You want to clean up everything. Let's just be honest about it. They want everything to be perfect at all times. They don't want to give up anything that's going to hurt their team.
I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
And he's going to get this inside the 30. 16 yards on that one, and also a Texan first down. Defensively, they're okay with that. Short little route, tackle him inbounds. Okay.
All right, cliche alert. It's time for someone to make a play because they've got to have something bigger downfield. They can't just take what they give them. They've got to force it and make something big happen for them.
Here's the first carry for Tariq Cohen. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there, and on that play, I saw a defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing, in a situation where they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or are you just coming from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously, but at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well.
Able to stay in bounds, and the clock keeps rolling. And this defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in. And all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is, first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what we said in the defensive.
And he's in for the score. Touchdown, Texans. A great effort there with touchdown number 12 on the year. And the Texans will extend their lead. And they're able to run it in. It started with a battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how we're going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And last time this unit was out here, costly turnover, and then that turned into 6 points. They've got to make amends.
And how many times have we sat in meetings with coaches and they use the term complementary football? Offense take care of the defense, defense take care of the offense. That didn't happen on the last possession. This is a chance for them to pick themselves back up and help their team.
Yeah, we'll see if they can recoup and recover. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They've
nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Time for a break. We'll come back and see this one out after this. So it's Jaguar football here as we welcome you back. They face a third down now as they try to find a late score.
Here we go now. Green 39. Green 39.
Here's Beathard to throw. He's going to let it fly. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off right around the 43. This spot in the fourth quarter with that deficit, had to throw the football. Unfortunately, there's the risk of big turnover.
And you know you're going to be throwing against nickel, dime, all sorts of exotic defenses, but you have to do it anyway. Ordinarily, you might want to run the football a little bit, try and get them out of it. But as you noted, this time of the game, this point on the clock, had to throw it.
Throwing now, Watson. He's going to go for a big play downfield. This is caught inside the 15. A huge play there for Houston. 46 yards.
Well, go ahead and throw the ball, man. You got the big lead. You got the clock on your side. Obviously, they don't care much about the feelings of the other team, do they?
Well, I was going to say, you better run to the locker room pretty quick after this one.
Well, right now, maybe. They're just looking at it from the fantasy perspective. More points for everyone if they win big.
Mason on the taunts. And this play gets blown up. They'll lose yardage. Back at the 17. That'll go as a loss of 5. And it'll be a 2nd and long.
That goes down as a loss against his rushing stats. But really, should he have to absorb that one? He had no chance on that play before they overwhelmed him.
Pretty much on top of him before he could take his first step. They'll run here with Mason. And this play gets blown up. They'll lose yardage. Back at the 17. It'll be a loss of a yard, and they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long.
I know they've got to be careful not to go to the well too often, but it's a fine line, isn't it? Because sometimes, if you've got success, you want to just keep pounding away.
But no success there. They rallied quickly on the defensive end. So now facing a 3rd and 16 following back-to-back running plays that went in the wrong direction.
Let's go. Come on.
Back to throw, Watson. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off inside the 5. And the return will stop him well inside their own 20 at the 15-yard line.
I tell you, Brandon, it seems like this guy's been all over the field so far. That's his 2nd interception of the game. And so much of playing defense in the NFL, especially when it comes to defending the pass, is all about positioning and technique. And this is fantastic work on both fronts there.
Let's go.
Try to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. Now a desperation throw. He's got a man. Complete. And all the way down to the 39. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop him with 13 seconds left to play.
3-19.
To throw is Beathard. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Kelly. And we've got a timeout. 9 seconds remaining.
Let's go. 3-19.
Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it. Over the middle, complete. That's Kelly. And down inside the 15 he goes. And a timeout comes in. The whistles blow with 3 seconds remaining. One final shot. They'll look to throw. And this is going to be intercepted. Able to get there and pick it. And shedding through the tackle. The storyline of this one, Charles, no doubt the number 0. Zilch, nada. A shutout so hard to do in the NFL.
It really is. And what an accomplishment, because you feel that not just on the defensive side, but as a full team. There's a lot of pride that goes into shutting out an opponent. And how about that 0 on the scoreboard for them, going along with those zeros in the time column too.
So for Houston, it's an important win for their playoff hopes as they move to 8-4. And they'll be back home next week to take on the Denver Broncos. Meanwhile, for the Jaguars, not much more to say. They dropped to 1-11. And they'll look to regroup next week as they head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. So that'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. With that, we sign off from Jacksonville.